It was built to last 17 years, but the red RM, Routemaster Bus, is driving into its 4th decade.
In today's modern climate, one of the major factors is cost. And this old baby will cost you 1/3 of what one of these new vehicles would.
The thing is, the Routemaster has a very friendly face. The newer buses are terribly square and not very welcoming, but the Routemaster, you know, it comes along, it looks so friendly, and when you're getting on, there's somebody that's standing on the platform ready to welcome you. You go through a sort of lobby.
Morning, Adam. Can I take a
Then
trolley?
you go into the sitting area, and it's all like sort of being at home and very reassuring.
Please hold tight now.
The Routemaster is a remarkable vehicle. Its history goes back many, many years. It's really the ultimate development of the traditional London open platform bus. When the Routemaster was first developed in the 1950s, an amazing amount of time and effort was spent on producing a vehicle which in its day was staggeringly ahead of its time, a very advanced specification which even today compares quite favourably with brand new vehicles.
One of the engineers on the design team was Colin Curtis.
It was decided that we should work on the principle of evolution and not revolution. In other words, we would utilise existing experience from previous models, experience of development work we had done and tested in service, so that we weren't creating a completely new and untried vehicle.
It might have looked like its predecessors, but underneath it was a bus of the future, a schoolboy's dream come true. The world's most up-to-date bus will be the first to have power steering, hydraulic brakes, automatic gears, independent springs and fresh air heating for the passengers. Features unheard of even on most cars of the day.
Since London Transport had been involved in assembling Halifax aircraft during the war, a good deal of experience was drawn from this particular work in that body parts would all be interchangeable on the bus.
It could be put together and taken apart like a Meccano kit. Extensive use of aluminium saved weight. Carrying 64 passengers, 8 more than its predecessor, the Routemaster weighed the same. Materials new to buses, like fiberglass, were used for the bonnet and emergency back door. Every detail was considered. A cubbyhole was made so the conductor could stand out of the way of passengers. And the cockpit was designed around the driver. Douglas Scott had designed everything from toasters to heaters to cookers. He was responsible for the Routemaster's look, though some of his early designs were thought too radical.
I think that any design comes off if attention is paid to every detail of it, but the right attention.
Scott even designed the seat fabric.
You'll notice that the vertical stripe is a double bright yellow. Well, now the idea of that was that when the material was new, the stripes were there and they could be seen as part of the design. As the material wore down, although the colours did fade, the brightness of the exposed cross yellows kept the whole seat looking clean and wholesome to sit on and brightened the interior of the bus.
The Routemaster was designed in-house by London Transport staff with a view to being an attractive piece of street furniture and at the same time serve the public of London.
Building the first Routemaster prototype took 3 years, and there was another 5 years of testing before it went into full production. Nearly 100 people were involved in its development. Their attention to detail was more appropriate to a spaceship than a bus.
When the design has been approved, the bus is tested again. This time for 6 weeks at full speed, 200 miles a day over a special proving ground. Bumps and bends are there in abundance. And if in all conditions the bus behaves itself according to plan, it will at last be judged thoroughly fit for public service in London.
I know when I was first in London and the Routemasters were all new. You know, we all knew that it had been specially designed for London, and it was obviously so good for its work. We used to travel on those lovely long routes right across London, and you could look at, I mean, I always used to try and get the front seat on the top deck, and the 73 was absolutely super. We used to go from Oxford Circus to the Albert Hall for the proms every year.
It was 1959 before the RM went into full production. Over 2,700 were built during the 1960s. On the streets, they were a hit. Buses were travelling 20 million miles a year. It was a tribute to British craftsmanship. Suppliers were proud of their association with the Routemaster.
Well, the thing is, the Routemaster has a very friendly face. The newer buses are terribly square and not very welcoming. But the Routemaster, you know, it comes along, it looks so friendly, and when you're getting on, there's somebody standing on the platform ready to welcome you. You go through a sort of lobby,
Morning, madam. Can I take a
then
trolley?
you go into the sitting area, and it's all like sort of being at home and very reassuring.
Please hold tight now.
We're all going on a summer holiday. No more working for a